Welcome back to the channel. This is Rich Latta here, back with another video. What a playoff type game that we just saw with the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty. And man, it was a tough loss that I have lots of questions about that I'm going to try to work through here with myself and you guys here in the comment section. I think some of the calls, and I hate to dwell on the referees. You guys know I don't like to do it because I really don't like to pay attention to the sports police, but I feel like they are part of the story here. At the end, the last play, Kaitlin Clark has a chance to attack going left with Natasha Cloud. She sticks the hand in, kind of looks like a clean steal, can't really tell. You can call that as a reach. Refs choose not to. Stephanie White chooses not to challenge. You think about the foul on the previous play with Sabrina and how she went at Lexi Hull. They call it that time. Bonner gets whacked on the other end. They don't do anything. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like it was kind of stolen from the Fever a little bit here. I feel like that both teams showed amazing heart fighting from deficits, both sides. The Liberty controlled most of the game up until the third quarter where everything switched. Kaitlin Clark started coming alive and energizing the building like only she could. We're going to talk more about the stats. I'm kind of just freshly recording this after I watched this, so I don't have all my thoughts together, but just kind of replaying it in my mind. The Fever kind of set it up to walk away, and then the Liberty just would not die. Breanna Stewart did not have her best game today, but Jonquel Jones outscoring the Fever by herself in the second half. Incredible performance for her. This felt like a playoff game. Fever dropped to 2-2, lost both games this week by a combined 3 points. I'm not worried about them long term. It's just kind of how the record looks at the moment. And I think that a lot of this is going to come down in these games against elite teams for the Fever is accepting the challenge. And one person that accepted the challenge for real was Aaliyah Boston. 27 points, 13 boards. And while Kaitlin in the first half was going through whatever, her shooting slump has been the last two games, she went 2 of 12 from three tonight. I'm happy she didn't quit shooting, but I would love to see, more shots, more aggression, and more wanting to go after it, offensively in the face of contested defense, of very, difficult face guarding style defense. I think she's got to, Stephanie White's got to allow her to challenge that defense more often. But Boston just came and was so clutch throughout so much of this game, receiving all those excellent passes from Kaitlin Clark and converting, whether she was dropping into a post-up, getting an easy layup, short jumper, one-hand shot, just between passes she would catch from Mitchell and Clark. It just felt like Boston was the true leader today for the Fever. This is a tough loss for the Fever. They walked them down. They had the building shaking. 34-foot three for Kaitlin to close the third quarter. We saw how they opened it up, and it just kind of all collapsed at the end there. And I don't know how you don't challenge that end call if you're Stephanie White there. I gotta be, explain to why that wasn't a challenge. And I think that the Fever are noticing with these good teams, like every team is going to give the Fever their best shot. They're going to be putting their best defenders all over Kaitlin Clark to try to stifle the offense, and they're going to start it 80 feet from the basket. So at this point, it's on Stephanie White to adjust. It's on Kaitlin to adjust. We are already seeing how this team's going to be guarded. So in the room, they have the answers too. So you got to think that this will come down to a much bigger question than on the ball versus off the ball, because I know that's the hot discussion right now for many fans. And for me, it's almost an irrelevant question until the Fever can consistently get stops on the other end, because the most comfortable offense for this team is in transition with Kaitlin Clark on the ball. That is absolutely correct. But when you give up a basket, that allows the team to reset. That allows all that. So, like, at that point, You're just asking for Kaitlin Clark to be a one-on-one ISO player against everyone, which she will wear down. I promise you. Like, it will be a lot of people standing around waiting for something to happen, or she's just going to be getting guarded physical as hell, and the refs clearly aren't going to do anything about it. So she's going to get mauled, and she's going to be getting tired and gassed out. People are going to be putting their hands all over her like this. They're going to be pushing her around, and it's not going to be called. So the answer is to play off ball in that situation. But if you step up the defense and you can turn those opportunities into transition, you don't have to worry about that, as we saw in Game 1 against the Chicago Sky. I think that with the Fever this year, this is going to be the central question of who you are going to be against great teams. Can you step up your defensive identity to create enough opportunities to play the exciting style that you want to play? Because every team is going to try to muck it up and make it ugly. And this team is a finesse team. There's a lot of size, but there's not a lot of girth everywhere. And the only thing you can do to slow down something really fast is to trip it up. And this team wants to play fast. They want to get in transition. They want wide open threes. They want layups. They want Kaitlin attacking and basically stretching the floor out. And what is happening, in my estimation, is teams are like, we don't want any of that. We're going to slow this down. We're going to muck it up and hold you. Ryan Howard did it this week. Alicia Gray did it this week. Nicole Walker-Kimbrough did it this week for the Dream. As far as the Liberty, Cloud, Feebitch before she went out with the injury, and Kennedy Burke were all taking turns essentially circling Kaitlin Clark like, we want a piece next. So my question for the coaching staff, can you figure it out? What's going to happen? So let's take a look at the box score, 90-88, 2-point win. The Indiana Fever here, 15 points for Lexi Hull, who started the game, played excellent. I thought in her different attempts to be a mid-range shooter, she hit 2 threes, which was awesome. Natasha Howard came alive in the fourth quarter for all of her baskets. I was on the stream just asking for Howard to get involved, and she responded with 6 points in the fourth and played stellar defense against Stewart, limiting her. But as I mentioned, Aaliyah Boston, 27 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists for her, and she had 4 fouls. And a lot of people had 4 fouls. Lexi Hull had 4 fouls. Natasha Howard had 4 fouls. Kaitlin Clark had 5 fouls. Boston, 4 fouls. So, like, this is a huge story, I think, with the Fever of how they're going to be ref this year. This is the second consecutive game for Kaitlin with 5 fouls. So, I don't know, man. I think the Fever are facing a difficult whistle this year. And like I said, I do not like to dwell on the referees because I think talking too much about the referees makes you sound like a crazy person. And that's the last thing I want to sound like. But it's impossible to ignore the data and the numbers. And I'm not in the business of ignoring the numbers. So Kelsey Mitchell, kind of an erratic game, 6 of 16 shooting, 15 points, did hit a timely 3 or 2 to get them back in the game, but Kaitlin was just all over the map today. 9 turnovers, it says. Not every turnover was her fault, but most of them were. At least 6 of them. 18, 10, and 5 for her. 2 big threes in the third quarter, but like I said, she was 0 of 10 up until that point. I love the fact that her heart stood in it. And, being a shooter, she knows she put the work in, and sometimes it's going to go like that, and you're going to go 6 of 19. It's fine. But I think the opportunity for her is the frustration. Like, you can just see it. And I know it's hard. It's going to be very hard, dealing with, getting mauled. There was a play early in the game where Natasha Cloud just mauls her, and it's not called. It was on the left baseline, at the end of a quarter. Didn't call it at all. And there was just a lot that was not called on the Liberty in this game. Sophie came in, hit a nice 3, but DeWanna Bonner, again, 7 boards, nothing offensively really. I think we got to ask questions about Bonner. She was out of the starting rotation this game. So, the answer for her is to get an open court, but she can't do it. apparently. So I don't know what we do with DeWanna Bonner here, but let's talk about the Liberty. This was, a 4-person effort, really. Fibich played the first 7 minutes of the game. She was on Kaitlin duty, went out with a shin injury, did not return. Stewart, 4 of 11, 16 points, 8 boards. She did not play great. I contend the best player on this team is Jonquel Jones, and she showed up when it counted, because Sabrina, even though she made those last 2 free throws off that, what some would say it was a phantom call, she missed 2 free throws right before that. So she was, shitting down the leg too. She was trying to give it away. But once again, just like the WNBA Finals last year, Jonquel Jones was the person to bail them out. 26 and 12 for her. Huge three-pointer in the second half, and just looking like she should be first team all league the way that she's playing. Love what I saw out of Jonquel Jones. Just impact player if there ever was one. Did whatever she wanted as far as catching the ball on the right side of the hoop. It was always going in. And then those clutch threes that she made. Sabrina, 2 of 8 from 3, had a couple chances, and then finally got to the line. Natasha Cloud, as I contended, she's going to be the X factor in this Liberty matchup with the Fever. She is the Kaitlin duty. She's the Kaitlin weapon right there. Her and Fibich is a hell of a combo. She scored 16 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, just super consistent everywhere. And she's gonna win a game on a play like that at the end. That's gonna boost her confidence, feeling like she can get away with more, right? And, was a good defensive play, reaches in, gets the steal. But, man, it's hard to watch when every ticky-tack foul is going the other way. So if you reach at all, even if you get the ball clean, feels like that could be a foul. Kaitlin, tried to flail for the call a little bit, but the refs seem to get fooled every other time. So I don't know, man. It's an interesting one. But like I said, this game was played with playoff intensity. This game was played with heart, with passion, and when this building comes alive, the Indiana building, there's nothing like it in this league for sure. I think that the Fever need to look themselves in the mirror this week, look where the shortcomings were, and figure out if other teams are just playing their best games of their lives to beat you or not, because I don't feel like outside of game 1, the Fever have played up to their potential. It's amazing, and I kind of compared it to last year, where it felt like when the Fever would get down like that, they would just quit. They just lose by 20, get blown out. They are hanging around these games a lot longer, so that's a kind of a positive spin. If you want to take anything away from this, they will learn how to get some of the execution correct. They will have the calls eventually go their way, but I think if you are an Indiana Fever fan, you go away from this opening week 2-2. You're kind of pissed. I get it. You feel like you shouldn't have lost to Atlanta, and then lose a big game to the New York Liberty, who you could have sent a message to, and this one gets away from you. They've got a back-to-back with the Liberty later in the season. 2 games in a row, I believe, in New York. Those are going to be 2 big games. I don't think they're going to see them for a while. So now they're going to have to beat up on the rest of the teams, like the rest of the teams, that aren't as good as like the Liberty. So, if you're looking for something, a positive takeaway is, these would have been blowouts last year. These were high pressure games, and there's going to be a winner and a loser. And the Fever came up short today, and the refs kind of took it from you. Absolutely. If you want to feel like that, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think Stephanie White needs to not acquiesce as much to the defense where they want the ball out of Kaitlin Clark's hands. I think at times that ratio needs to flip a little bit to where, no, we're going to give you Kaitlin Clark, whether you want it or not. And then, her in Boston is the most effective, piece of offense. They kept repeating that over and over and over and over again on the broadcast. And they did it for a reason. So, anyway, my name is Rich. What'd you think of the game? I wish we were talking about a victory today for the Fever. But you got to tip your hat because the Liberty's a really good team. And I think that eventually the refs will stop messing it up. But maybe I'm a positive guy. I don't know. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Don't miss anything we got going on. I thank you so much for your support all this week. We're going to keep talking about the dub. And, we'll be back next week. I am going out of town, so there will possibly be mobile videos that are coming to you next week when the Sun play the Fever. Yeah, so we'll talk about it then. Anyway, I'm Rich. I'm up out of here. Peace. One lifetime. Hope you guys, wherever you are, having a great day. So, peace.